Kosem Sultan. Was she a guiding light or a haunting shadow? Before she became the most powerful woman of the Ottoman Empire, she was just Anastasia, a girl torn from her home and cast into a world of intrigue. How did she rise from a foreign captive to the woman who ruled over sultans and empires? And what price did history pay for her reign? The veil of mystery around Kösem Sultan begins to lift. Each episode uncovers not only her rise to power, but also the sacrifices, betrayals, and blood spilled along the way. Because behind the throne of the Ottoman Empire, there was once a woman, and her name was Kösem. In the distant lands of Greece, in a small village nestled among steep hills, lived priest Dmitri in an old stone-walled church. His greatest treasure was his daughter Anastasia. This girl's beauty was so enchanting that it had captivated not only the village, but the entire region through whispers carried by the wind. Anastasia's most magical feature was her eyes, as if nature itself had mixed colors into these eyes, sparkling emerald green in the first light of dawn, appearing deep blue like ocean depths at midnight, sometimes radiating golden, honey-colored sparkles. These magical eyes that changed color according to her moods would make anyone who met them lose themselves. Her golden brown hair danced like copper-colored flames in the sunlight. Her facial features seemed to be carved with special divine attention. An elegant nose, naturally red lips, skin white as snow porcelain. Priest Dmitri was aware of the danger of this magical beauty. Therefore, he kept his daughter hidden as much as possible, advising her to cover her head and avoid eye contact so as not to attract the attention of church visitors. "My daughter Anastasia," he would say constantly with a melancholic voice. "Beauty is God's blessing, but also a great test. Being beautiful in this world can sometimes be the greatest curse." The girl listened to her father, kept herself hidden, but at the same time lost herself in the magical world of books. She lived in her own little universe, reading texts in the languages her father had taught her. On a cold winter evening, Priest Dmitri hid his daughter in the church's secret room. He had received news that soldiers from afar were approaching the village. "My daughter, don't come out. Don't make a sound," he said frantically, his hand trembling. "Wait until the storm passes." But fate was not written this way. One of the soldiers, after thoroughly searching the church, sensed the existence of the secret passage. "Priest," roared the soldier leader, "this wall sounds hollow. What are you hiding?" When the door opened and they saw Anastasia, they thought time had stopped. Standing before them was not just a beautiful girl. She was like an angel descended from other realms, a magical being escaped from a fairy tale. "Almighty God," murmured one of the soldiers in a breathless whisper. "What beauty is this?" "Look at those eyes," said another in an enchanted state. "They draw a person's soul into them." "This is not a girl, but a fairy," marveled the third, "like those in fairy tales." Priest Dmitri desperately tried to stand in front of his daughter. "I beg you, leave my daughter alone. I will give you whatever you desire, even my life." But it was already too late. They'd already taken Anastasia with them. When Anastasia was leaving her beloved father behind, there was no fear in her eyes, but a fiery anger. "I will not go," she cried out. "This is my home. My family is here." But the soldiers laughed mercilessly. "Look at this little fairy," said one mockingly. "She's defying our orders." "The little princess is rebelling," said another. This attitude will pass in the palace. When Anastasia tried to escape from them, one of the soldiers stopped her harshly. During the struggle, a merciless blow came to Anastasia's delicate knee. She fell to the ground in pain. "Ah," she moaned. "My knee. That's how it's done," said the soldier coldly. "Now you won't try to escape." As Anastasia writhed in pain, her knee began to swell. She would no longer be able to walk gracefully. The caravan journey became complete torment for Anastasia. Her knee ached. She constantly stumbled, struggling to move among the other girls following behind. "Don't walk slowly," the soldiers shouted. "The caravan doesn't stop." "It hurts," Anastasia moaned with her sweet voice. "These things will pass in the palace," said an old woman beside her. "Greater pains await you there." As the days passed, Anastasia's knee began to heal, but a slight limp continued. Her angelic grace was now shadowed. When the caravan arrived at the great city, Anastasia was seeing such a magnificent place for the first time, but her beauty had enchanted everyone throughout the caravan. In the slave market, merchants were enchanted when they saw her. "What kind of girl is this? Look at her eyes. They sparkle like stars. Even the imperial treasure doesn't possess such beauty." But Anastasia was no longer the same. The pain of the journey, her injury, the sorrow of separation from her father had made her completely different. Her beauty remained, but now she had harder, more determined looks. When she passed through the palace gates, the girls there froze when they saw her. "Who is this?" whispered one. "What enchanting beauty," said another. "She's not one of us," said a third, jealously. A concubine named Zarif, who was considered beautiful, approached Anastasia. "Who are you?" "Ah, Anastasia," said the girl, her tongue not yet accustomed. "Anastasia," mocked Zarif. "How clumsy your tongue is. That's not how we speak here, little lady." The other girls began to giggle. "Listen to her," said one. "She speaks broken." "Beauty isn't enough," said another. "You need to learn how to speak too." Anastasia bowed her head in shame. Her language was indeed insufficient. As days passed, the other concubines began to bully Anastasia. They were jealous of her beauty and constantly looked for faults. "Look at her," said Zarif one day. "Look at her walk. She limps too." "The Sultan doesn't like such girls," said another. "Who wants the flawed ones?" Anastasia could no longer bear it. "Be quiet," she cried. "I'm not flawed. Leave me alone." But due to her language difficulties, her words weren't fully understood. The girls laughed even more. "Look at her. She's become a lioness," said Zarif. "Our little kitten has shown her claws." That night, Anastasia couldn't hold back her tears. Her father, her home, her freedom. Everything felt so distant, so lost. In the dormitory, the girls constantly talked about the Sultan, as if to make Anastasia hear. But what they said were not pleasant things at all. "The Sultan is very old," whispered Zarif. "They say he's 65 years old." "I saw him in the palace," said another girl. "Very ugly. His teeth have fallen out." "The worst part," added a third in a mysterious voice, "he devours the souls of young girls." "Their souls?" Anastasia was shocked. "Yes," said Zarif seriously. "He calls young concubines to him at night. Then no one ever sees them again." Anastasia remained in fear. "Does he really devour souls?" "Of course," said one of the girls. "Old and ugly men feed on beauty. They take our lives and steal our youth." As these terrifying gossips spread, Anastasia couldn't sleep at night. The thought of being called to the Sultan's presence filled her with horror. One morning, the girls in the dormitory were gathered. The Valide Sultan wanted to see the newcomers. Safiye Sultan was the most powerful woman in the palace. Despite her age, she was still very impressive. Her eyes were sharp, her posture commanding, her presence magnificent. As the concubines passed before her one by one, Anastasia's turn came. The Valide Sultan was enchanted the moment she saw her. "You," she said slowly, approaching. "Who are you?" "Anastasia," the girl replied, trembling. The Valide Sultan approached her, looked at her face, examined her magical eyes. "Not Anastasia," she said decisively. "From now on, your name is Mapaika, moon-faced. But my name is Anastasia." "Don't object," said the Valide Sultan harshly. "I make the decisions here. You are now Mapaika." Anastasia had to bow her head. Even her own name no longer belonged to her. As days passed, the terrifying gossips about the Sultan increased. Mapaika began having nightmares at night. She could no longer bear it. One night, she decided to escape. Even if she limped, despite her injured knee, she would try. In the late hours of the night, she silently got up from her bed. She had observed the corridors and learned the guards' routes. She slowly left the dormitory. She tried to advance toward the garden, passing through long corridors. But the palace was too big. She was lost. No matter which direction she turned, she kept coming to the same places. Finally, she saw a small gap beside a wall. Maybe she could find an exit from here. Slipping through the narrow passage, she reached a small garden. The sweet sound of a fountain was coming. Maybe from here she could climb the palace wall and gain her freedom. But she was tired. She sat by the fountain to rest a little. She was very sad, and tears began to flow. Just then, she heard soft footsteps behind her. She turned in fear. A young man stood before her, elegantly dressed, handsome, with a noble bearing. But who was this mysterious person? "Don't be afraid," said the man gently as he approached. "I won't harm you." Mapaika immediately tried to stand up, but her knee hurt and she stumbled. "You're injured," said the man with concern. Sit. "Who are you?" asked Mapaika. The young man hesitated. How familiar these magical eyes seemed. Was this the beautiful face that entered his dreams? He swallowed. "I," said the man thoughtfully. "I'm someone who works here. And you?" I was trying to escape. My name is Anastasia. Now Mapaika," she said honestly. "Escape? Why?" "The Sultan. The Sultan is very terrifying. Old, ugly, he devours the souls of young girls." The young man was surprised. "Devours souls? Who told you this?" "The girls in the palace. Everyone knows. He calls girls at night, then no one ever sees them." Said the man. "Have you seen this Sultan?" "No, I'm afraid precisely because I haven't seen him. The unknown seems terrifying." The man smiled. "Maybe he's not that terrifying." "How do you know?" Mapaika looked at him suspiciously. "Have you seen him?" "I," said the man. "Yes, I have seen him." "Tell me then," said Mapaika curiously. "Is he really ugly? Very old?" The man laughed slightly. "Actually, he's not that old. Maybe 23 or 24 years old." "Lies," said Mapaika. "The girls said he was very old." "Then the girls are wrong." "Is he ugly then?" The man thought. "Isn't this matter subjective? Some say ugly, some say handsome. What do you say?" "I say he's not bad. He could even be considered handsome." Mapaika looked at him curiously. "Did you really see him, or are you playing with me?" As they talked, Mapaika realized this young man was very different, gentle, elegant, educated, and he was really talking to her, not mocking her. "So this Sultan," asked Mapaika again, "doesn't really devour souls?" The man began to laugh. "No, he doesn't devour souls. He's an ordinary person too. Maybe a bit lonely." "Lonely? How can a sultan be lonely? Sitting on the throne isn't easy. Everyone around him either tries to use him or fears him. He has no real friends." "Still, help me," said Mapaika desperately. "I need to escape from this palace before becoming prey to that sultan. I'll do anything you want. Anything." Mapaika's words echoed in the young man's ears. She had said, "I'll do anything you want." What did he want? To know, see, understand this most beautiful of beauties, to lose himself in her golden hair, to be captivated in her velvet skin. These thoughts came and went in his mind for a second. This magical being standing before him was unlike any girl he had ever seen, rebellious, innocent, with magical beauty and enchanting words. And he wanted not to break this spell, but to protect it. Will Kosem truly meet the Sultan in episode 2? Or will she realize that she has already met him before? The seeds of a legendary love story are about to be planted. The next chapter will reveal secrets, passion, and destiny itself. But the story will only continue with your voice. Share your thoughts in the comments, because every comment shapes the path of this tale. Don't miss episode 2 and the journeys yet to come. Subscribe and turn on notifications. Your words keep these stories alive, and your support writes the next page of history.